What if the Genshin Impact characters, for each nation, had defied every single boss in the game? What would end up happening, lore-wise, and what characters would end up being successful in this difficult task? The story begins when one day in Liyue, the wrath of the slain vengeful gods suddenly started to appear again, cursing the entire nation once more. And not only that, the darkness started to spread all throughout the three nations, Mondstadt, Liyue, and Inazuma. The curse had a very strong effect on the different bosses, making them be more aggressive to humans, and duplicating them perfectly. With this problem getting out of control, the Archons had no choice but to summon all the vision holders of their nation to order them to defeat all of the 16 bosses. Some of them they aren't even familiar with, because they are from a different region. Since there are so many to defeat, it would waste time to make teams, so each Genshin Impact character have to go solo. Note, I am measuring the characters by their power level in their lore, but the bosses, and their mechanics, attacks, and phases, will all be based off in-game. Now let's begin their boss rush, with the Anemo cube. This boss doesn't have any strange gimmick, allowing most of the vision holders to easily one-shot it. This is disadvantageous to the Anemo users, because their element is immune against it, but it's fine, as they can go physical, well, except Sucrose. Since she can't do damage to it, will she already not be able to win? That would be the case, if it weren't for the fact that her canonical weapon is Frostbearer, which can deal physical damage, meaning she can still defeat the Anemo cube, although it will take an extremely long time, so all of them pass through this one. Next is the Electro cube, and this is where their streak stops. It has a last phase, where the character has to deal elemental damage that is not Electro, and if not, the boss will revive. By my knowledge, none of the Electro characters can deal any other type of elemental damage, meaning all of them can defeat this one, even the Radiant Shogun, and then everyone else can pass through this one. Following is the Cryo flower, that has a strong cryo shield, very bad matchup for the cryo vision holders, except Eula and Changyun, who can break it with their claymore, so they pass. None of the others would be able to break it though, but luckily, they can still damage it without breaking its shield, so it will take a very long time. But they can still eventually defeat it, so they all pass. Following is the Geo-Hypostasis, who we know what element is a bad matchup against, but will they succeed? Noel and Ito easily can, because their claymore, Albedo, and Zhongli can probably summon powerful enough Geo things to destroy the pillars, and Goro and Yunjin will struggle but eventually manage. Leaving only Ningguang, who can't hurt the cube, because it's immune to Geo. Her canonical weapon is the Solar Pearl, that sadly can't deal physical damage, but wait, it's not just her. All the catalysts cannot break the pillars, so their only choice is to one-shot at the start. I think that Klee, Lisa, and Ye are the only ones capable of doing that, lore-wise, making the others not pass. For the Oceanid, all the Hydro Catalyst users will struggle, because it's immune to that element, but is there a way they can deal physical damage? Barbara's cannon weapon is the Magic Guide, so she cannot. Mona's weapon is the Favonius Cotex, and the Eye of Perception, which can deal physical damage, so she passes. And for Kokomi, her weapon is the Purple Donut, but there is this artifact set that could deal physical damage, and judging by their description and appearance, I think Kokomi actually owns it in the canon, so I would have to say she passes too, but I could very well be wrong. Following is the Pyro plant, that provides the same problem as the Cryo flower, but in pyro form. Also similar to it though, is that it can still be damaged with a shield still on, so they all can eventually defeat it, making everyone here pass, just that the pyro characters will be exceptionally slow. Up next is the primo geovishap, who isn't immune to anything, just has a strong resistance, so they all can pass this one, but some will take a very long time to finish. Succeeding is the cryo cube, that is not favorable to the cryo characters, but they can just attack with physical, so it's fine. The only character who will struggle here is a cryo catalyst that doesn't exist yet, so everyone passes. For the next one, we have the maguu kenki, that despite being cryo and Anemo, actually isn't immune to any of those elements, which I only knew today when doing research. with it having no immunity, I can safely say, everyone will manage to defeat him, and pass through this boss as well, if they play careful, like how I portrayed them, in the other fights. Upcoming is the Pyro Cube, and unlike the Pyro Flower, this one cannot be defeated, with its shield still up, since its shield is immune to Pyro and physical attacks. All Pyro characters are immediately out on this one. Other elements can still deal damage to its barrier though, even if it will take 1 million years to finish, so all the non-Pyro characters still pass, with the Hydro ones gaining an extra tier for finishing way ahead of the others. Next is the Perpetual Mechanical Array. It doesn't have any elemental infusion, and only is physical resistance, so I think all of the characters will also destroy this boss without too much problems, and this might be the elite boss, where they all collectively had the fastest time in clearing it. Only Yerla and Razor will struggle. Up next is quite the tricky one, the Hydro Cube. It's immune to Hydro, so only Hydro catalysts will have a hard time, and we now know that Barbara is the only one that can't deal physical damage, so she's out. But it's not over yet. During the Hydro Cube's last phase, it summons slimes that you have to stop to prevent it from respawning, and those slimes cannot be defeated with Hydro and physical, so all the Hydro characters will now not be able to clear it. Well, except one child. He has a delusion that can deal electro damage, so he retains his 100% win rate, then the other elements defeat it as well. Succeeding is the Thunder Manifestation, that is similar to the Electro Cube, has immunity to all electro attacks, but luckily this time, they can hit it with physical attacks, so only the catalysts are up for consideration. Lisa uses the Whine and Song that cannot deal physical damage, and for Yamiko, she uses her signature weapon, Kagura's Verity, which also does not deal any physical damage, so they both sadly cannot clear this one. Following is a weird one, the Golden Wolf Lord. It can summon a shield that can only be fastly defeated by Geo, while the other elements take 1,000,000 years. I decided to do the same thing I did with the Pyro Cube, where I allow the other elements to clear this boss as well, because they will all eventually beat it when they play extremely safe, but it will take such a long time, so I'm giving an extra tier to the Geo characters, and those who can probably one-shot it in the lore. Succeeding is the Bathysmal Vishaps, who doesn't have any immunity, just has big resistances, so I think all characters will clear this one if they play extremely safe, avoiding most of the Vishaps combo attacks, and making sure to defeat them at the exact same time to prevent both or one of them from healing. And then finally, for the last one, we have the Ruined Serpent, that is similar to the Mechanical Array, where it only has physical resistance, but no immunity at all, so I think all characters will successfully clear this one as well. And with that, the boss rush is over, and now let's see the overall performance of the characters. So the ones who couldn't clear were all the Pyro characters, all the Catalyst users, all the Hydro characters, except Child, who luckily had a delusion, and all the Electro characters. Now these are the ones who cleared all the bosses, some took months to finish. And then these are the ones who got an extra point for finishing early in the Pyro Cube, or the Golden Wolf Lord. Notably, Barbara was the character who cleared the least amount of bosses, as they have defeated most of the bosses. Hu Tao and Zhongli finally perfected the secret art that the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor previously used to stop the darkness, but before they start to banish it again, Hu Tao spots a little silhouette of a man, who she assumes was the one who made the Curse of the Gods return back to Li Wei. The end. As usual, don't take this video seriously at all, because this is all just for fun and speculation. Thank you all so much for watching. What parts do you agree and disagree with? Comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye.